Hi, it's Marketing Monday. Welcome back. Got your beverage of choice. We're ready to talk about all things marketing, practice development, and promotion for mediators and arbitrators. Today I've got my good old cafe mocha. It works. It's a standard. A little bit hot. We're going to put it down for a minute. We're going to start talking about webinars and how you can really master being the speaker or presenter on a webinar. I'm regularly online, but like right now. Sometimes I'm the host, sometimes I'm the guest, but I love these online presentations and the video platform format when they work right. When they don't work right, of course, it's a bit cringy. So let's talk about how to avoid the cringy bits and make sure that your presentations online are the right way. If you're familiar with my presentations, then you know I recommend public speaking as one of the 5 best ways to build your practice. And whether you are a seasoned speaker or new to the online presentation environment, mastering the art of webinar delivery is essential for engaging and impactful sessions. So, it's a post-pandemic world. So many of the environments where public speaking is necessary, those have now shifted to a virtual world, which is great because it means we can expand our reach. We don't have to, put on hard pants and get on a plane and travel somewhere to be the presenter if that's not possible for us. It means that we can sit at home in our yoga pants and house shoes, our cafe mochas in hand, and give our presentations to a much broader audience. And I think being able to express your ideas clearly, concisely, and most importantly, confidently is a challenge in and of itself. And when you add into the component all of the online issues that we have to think about, well, that's a conversation that we need to have. And having to speak on a screen rather than face to face can really make it a lot more complex. And if for you it's a tense situation, it can make the situation even more tense. So in an online presentation, it's not just the content that you provide that markets and promotes your service and our industry, but it's also the way in which you present that content that can make a big difference. So I've put together sort of a step-by-step, by all means not inclusive, but a step-by-step guide to help you enhance your skills and deliver really compelling webinars via platforms like Zoom. So number 1 is preparation. That's where it always starts, right? So let's set the stage for success. So I've made a list of do's and don'ts. And so before going live, a really thorough preparation lays the foundation for a successful webinar. So consider these key aspects. Do outline your content structure with a really clear introduction, the main points, and a concise conclusion, in the same way that you would outline an article for readership. And some organizations will require that you integrate slides somewhere into that programming for continuing education credits. And I understand that, but see if you can't offer the slide deck as a separate handout before or after your presentation. You really want the emphasis to be on your message and you, not on your ability to create a pretty slide deck. Also, I think most people can't listen to what you're saying and read your slide deck at the same time. That level of multitasking is just not in most people's nature. So you want to avoid that situation. You really want people to be listening to you. If you really do have to use slides, don't overload them with text or clutter. Keep the visuals clean and focused on one idea per slide. Conduct a technology check to make sure that your microphone, your camera, your internet connection are all working properly long before you log in. If you've got new equipment, make sure that you know how to use it. If you're using old equipment, make sure it's still working. Don't Don't neglect to have a backup plan in case there is a technical issue. It happens. It's the world in which we live. So be prepared with an alternative way to deliver your content if necessary. It could be that your computer just won't connect and you need to have a smartphone or a tablet at the ready just in case. Do mute your phone and computer notifications so that your background sound is minimized. You might also need to close a door to keep, colleagues and family sounds, from intruding into your presentation or wandering into view. Don't deliver a presentation on the go. A lot of us feel really confident about our presentation skills, but I promise you, it's the wrong move to make. It's really important to treat a virtual presentation as you would a physical one. There's still a live audience on the other end of the camera. Do have a glass of water or cafe mocha within reach to make sure that you're not parched or coughing while you're delivering your information. Do practice looking into the eye of the camera. On the viewer's end, it creates the sense that you're making eye contact with them. Don't use green screen backgrounds unless you have a really professional image that isn't blurry or that creates the halo effect around your hair. Also, don't use moving graphics or, for example, have a ceiling fan whirring away in the background. It gives a lot of people motion sickness. And again, we want them concentrating on you, not their sick tummies. Do coordinate with the organizers to be able to log in early so that you can check your connectivity, your sound, your lighting, go through any admin requests or questions, and be sure that you've got all of the login details in a really easy to locate file on your computer. Don't, obviously, be late or flake out. Don't leave the organizers hanging online until the last minute, wondering if or when you'll join the webinar. This nearly guarantees that you won't be invited back, and it can do some serious damage to your public reputation. Next, optimizing your environment. So this is all about your surroundings, and your surroundings can play a crucial role in how your audience perceives your presentation. So do position your webcam at eye level to maintain sort of a natural eye contact appearance. Don't place your webcam in a position where you're looking down or looking up. This creates a really disconnected feeling. And I know that lots of laptops have their camera just above the keyboard, or rather at the bottom of the screen. If that's your situation, then I can recommend getting something like this. This is what I use, not right now, obviously, because I'm showing it to you, but this is an all-in-one light, microphone, and camera, and it just fixes to the back of your laptop screen. It plugs into the USB, and it collapses, and I can put it in a little case and put it in my briefcase so that I always have good equipment. Best always is to use natural light if it's possible. If not, spend $30 on Amazon and get one of these kinds of light. Or if your presentation happens to be during a change in natural light, so sunrise, sunset, really good examples. You start out with great light and you end up sitting in the dark. It's better to have closed the curtains and put on an artificial light that lights your face. What you don't want to do is sit with a window directly behind you. This creates a backlight effect that makes you appear dark or silhouetted. Also, you don't want the hot, bright light streaming through a window and onto your face at the top of your head, or somewhere else that's distracting. Again, it's better if you have the choice to just close all the doors, the windows, pull the shades, and use a light ring, right? Then let's move to your personal presentation, your dress, your demeanor. Your appearance really contributes to your credibility and the audience engagement. So do dress professionally in solid colors or subtle patterns, subtle being the key word here, that complement your skin tone and the webinar's tone. Don't wear distracting patterns. Don't wear logos or overly casual attire that may detract from your message. Do maintain good posture. Again, make eye contact with the camera and use gestures naturally to convey enthusiasm. Make sure you've got a really comfortable chair to sit on. Don't fidget. Don't look away from the camera too frequently or exhibit nervous habits that can distract viewers. I see people doing this when they try to stand and have their camera quite high, so it's still at eye level, but they're standing. And when we do that, we tend to sway back and forth, and this can be distracting. On my next section of do's and don'ts, this one's about engaging your audience. Interaction keeps your audience attentive and involved throughout the webinar. So you do want to encourage questions throughout the presentation and allocate specific time slots for Q&A sessions, either during or after your presentation. You can encourage people after your presentation to reach out to you via email or on social media to ask questions and keep the dialogue going if your presentation is going to use the entire allotted time for the presentation. Don't ignore the chat questions from the attendees or the admins. Acknowledge participants by name if they're asking a question, and stay non-verbally engaged in the conversation when you're not presenting. It's not difficult to do. An occasional smile or a nod will do the trick. It just gives that visual reinforcement that you're paying attention, that you're actively listening, right? If you have the kind of presentation that can, use polls and surveys to gauge the audience's understanding and gather feedback on key points. Don't, though, overwhelm the attendees with too many polls or surveys. They can really disrupt the flow of your presentation. And if you put in too many, people start to lose interest in what you're presenting because there is that lag time between asking the question, having everyone answer it, then you getting the data points from their contribution. If you have polls or surveys that you consider to be a requirement in your presentation, make sure that the admins, that the organizers of your webinar have them well in advance, right? The same is true if you want to screen share. Don't leave these for the last minute. It's stressful for the organizers. It's stressful for you. It's just disrespectful to everybody's time. And when you leave it to the last minute, my sense is when I'm the admin that the presenters are using me like their private secretary. And I'm not really comfortable with that. Ask the organizers for any images or links that you can share with your colleagues or on your online social media platforms. They're giving you a chance to spread your message and enhance your reputation as a credible authority on this particular topic, right? So use it to do just that. But don't assume that you can freely use the organization's logos, images, etc., without their permission. Most groups are really flexible and have no problem with it, but some groups, not so much. So it's better to ask if they've got something that they would like for you to share, right? Do keep your presentation short and punchy. People's attention spans are far smaller online than in person, and they're much more likely to be distracted by other people's faces on the screen or their pets or parcel delivery men. So keep your message clear and simple. And then don't Wait until the very day of your presentation to clarify exactly who your audience members will be. You don't want to be caught up short trying to quickly rework your presentation at the very last minute. It will come off as being ill-prepared and unprofessional. Let's talk next about the technical considerations. Issues come up. There are, from time to time, technical problems. You just need to handle them calmly and professionally. So you do want to have a backup plan for the common technical problems like internet outages or software glitches. So for example, if the Wi-Fi here goes out, I can turn on my iPhone and use my iPhone as a hotspot to maintain internet access. Don't panic if issues arise. Stay calm, let everybody know what the problem is, and work on resolving it promptly. Next, do conduct practice runs to familiarize yourself with the platform if it's new to you, and then troubleshoot any potential issues before going live. So for example, if you are going to screen share, make sure that you don't also have to admin letting people in or chat or something else, because when you start playing around with the other buttons that are on your computer screen, it could interfere with your screen share or your slide deck. And some of us use two screens, so we have our slide deck on one screen, but we're presenting on another. And it is disconcerting to the viewer when you are looking at your own slide deck over here and you're meant to be presenting over here. So see if you can't figure out how to either stack your screens or turn a screen so that it is not landscape but portfolio. There are lots of different ways to manage this. Next, you've given a great webinar, great presentation. How do you follow it up? How do you enhance the audience's retention and get some feedback? Well, you do want to provide attendees with resources that are related to your webinar content. So this could be additional readings or downloadable materials, things of that nature. Don't delay. Don't delay on sending any post-webinar surveys or handouts because that really, again, says you're not on the ball. So you do want to use feedback, of course, to improve your future webinars and presentation, and then tailor content to better meet your audience's expectation. So, people can be brutal, but most of them are really polite. So just ask for a little bit of constructive feedback, take it as that, and make changes if necessary. Do have a post ready to go out on social media once you've completed your webinar. It should just be a simple thank you to your host for having invited you to speak and participate. And don't forget to update your website, bio, resume, CV with this feather in your cap. You can use backlinks to the organization's website if they're available, or their YouTube channel, etc., so that you both get the most out of the content and the event. So these are not difficult things to manage. None of them are probably, great epiphany kinds of points, but it's important to, have an established standard list that you can go through every time you're the presenter of a webinar, or, you're sitting on a panel at a speaking event, etc. And I don't think it's difficult at all to master the art of webinar presentation. It does require blending a little bit of technical proficiency and engaging delivery and a meticulous preparation. But by focusing on optimizing your environment, using visual aids if they're necessary, fostering audience interaction, you really can deliver a compelling and memorable webinar that resonates with your audience long after your session ends. and will encourage them to understand that you are great at what you do and you're the exact right person to hire for their case, right? So a little bit of practice, attention to detail, and you can elevate your online speaking skills and make a really lasting impact in the digital realm. That is it for me for Marketing Monday. I hope you enjoyed today's program. Drop me a comment in the chat. Let me know what you think of these do's and don'ts. If I didn't mention something that you consider to be a do or a don't, let me know so that I can update my own list and learn from your genius. Well, that's it for Marketing Monday. I hope you have a great week and you're off to do lots of great practice development tasks. See you next week. Be good.